Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So today let's talk about one of the hottest topic that everybody is talking about, but I think I have a slightly different approach to this. And since this is coming out in 2 days time, is it 2 days? Yes, 2 days time, and I think it's a timely reminder for everybody, and also a timely look, I would say, into whether we should buy Prismatic Evolutions, especially if we are planning to buy, if we only have access to the secondary market. If you still do not know the market price at the moment, if you look at TCG Player or in the eBay secondary market, is around 145, 150 American dollar. So, but of course, if you have access to other ways to buy them at a lower price, then there's a different matter, right? For the purpose of this video, let's just say that the market price at the moment is 150, okay, to make it simple. If you follow my previous video, I told you I have a grand total of one ETB from my wholesale supplier, and I got it a few days ago, and it is at its rightful place in between all my Terrestrial Festival booster boxes, and they look really nice. And I was struggling, and I thought, am I going to rip this open with my kids? You know, we are going to really enjoy it. I mean, we have opened quite a few boxes of Terrestrial Festival. We have a lot of fun, but looking at all the videos of the other streamers and YouTubers opening up their Prismatic Evolutions, I can't convince myself, especially from the investor point of view, to really open this box, and especially because I only have one. I mean, if I have more in the future, if I manage to get some more at a reasonable price, then maybe I'll rip one for enjoyment. But at the moment, I'm gonna keep it sealed in my nice little stash. Okay, let's move on to this. So today I wanted to take a look. Of course, the main question is, should we buy or should you buy this set, Prismatic Evolution? And I think if we really want to compare to similar sets, we definitely have to look at some of the special sets that were out in the many years. There are more than this. I think I missed out Champion Path and probably a few more in between. 151, of course, but I'm trying to find something that is similar and that is comparable, as close as possible to Prismatic Evolution. So I was looking at some of the sets, some of this, like Generations. If you look at the price, it's quite high. It's I thought it's higher than this. I'm not sure why it's showing 633. I thought it is closer to $800 to $900 at the moment. Yeah, but Hidden Faith, I think you can still find them in the eBay at below 200, but let's just take this price for now. Shining Fates is not as good as a set compared to Hidden Fates or Generations. In fact, Generations, okay, let's talk about Generations later. And Paldean Fate is actually doing quite well with the Bubble and the Charizard and the Gardevoir all doing quite well in the singles. Okay, so let's take a look at the cards inside. So this is the Terrestrial Festival cards, some of the examples. So of course the main feature of the set was the evolutions, but besides the evolution, there are actually also some other cards that looks pretty nice. I've put the Iron Valiant as well, and I think one more, can't remember what it is. But I got Umbreon. I just sent it for grading, and it will come back in a few weeks time. Let's see whether I got a 10 for that. Yeah, I got Iron Valiant. It looks really nice in person, and the Umbreon, of course, looks amazing. So yeah, so Prismatic Evolution will look similar to this. I think they have additional, quite a few trainer cards inside compared to the Terrestrial Festival. And of course, we all know that the pull rates are very different between the two sets, even though the cards inside are pretty similar. Alright, and let's move on to Generations. Generation is quite interesting. If you look at the card prices, they are not very high, you know, but they do have the the evolutions in there. I counted 6 of them. Not every one of them are present. But they do have other very popular cards like Charizard, Articuno, Zapdos, Gengar, Blastoise, and many more. Venusaur. Basically all the popular ones are in there. And Hidden Fates, quite similar as well. You have your very popular Charizard, your Umbreon again. Umbreon is always popular. And a few other evolutions, Lucario, Mewtwo, Greninja. Many of the very popular cards, and if you look at the card prices, it's actually even higher than Generation, especially the Charizard. But if you look at the ETB price, this 2021 is right about when it was released. I think it was in February, but this is as far back as Pokédata shows. They don't have any data before this. So, and very curiously, the price is actually quite close to what we are seeing right now for Prismatic Evolution. So $142 and went down a little bit after release. And then, of course, we have quite a bit of reprint in between. But bearing in mind, this is before COVID. So even though they have some reprints, but I do not think they are reprinted in such a high volume as compared to sets like Crown Zenith or the more recent Podium Fate. Those are really in very high volume. But of course, we can also say that the demand at the moment is a lot higher than even at this timing, close to where we have COVID, the COVID time. So are we going to see similar price trend like this, pretty flat? And actually only went up quite recently to the close to $200 range. So this was in during release, was actually quite close to what we are seeing right now to Prismatic Evolution. So after looking at and comparing, of course I also saw the Champion's Path and Shining Fates, but I don't think those sets are worth looking into at all. They are very different, and the performance are also very far. I do not think Prismatic Evolution will be anywhere close to that. The Prismatic Evolution I thought will be much better than them, so I'm not going to look at that. But Generations is pretty expensive, so as I mentioned, at the moment I believe it's in the $800 to $900 range per ETB sealed. And I was doing some research, and I thought, why is it so expensive when the cards inside are not so sought after, And the answer is actually pretty simple. Because at that time, 2016, when it just came out, there are not so many people who are actually keeping the ETB sealed. Most of us buy them to rip, to see what we got inside, to really play with the ETB, to play with the cards rather than keeping it sealed, hoping that it will grow in value later on. So this trend of really investing and keeping things sealed really probably only started after 2016, when you have your cool trainer Ryan and your Pokeref coming into the picture, and really bringing a lot more awareness into the hobby and the investment side of the thing. That's when it started. At least that's what I understood. As for Hidden Fate, even though it's quite sought after, like you see the cards inside is quite pricey. The Charizard is in the $400 to $500 range, but it was quite heavily printed, at least relative to the volume at that time. And so the question is, Prismatic Evolution, what do we think, or how do we think it will do? Will it be doing similar to Hidden Fate, or will it be closer to Generation in terms of performance? And how much will it be printed? I mean, these are questions that will really affect the eventual price of this set. I think in terms of the desirability of the set, I think there's no question. It's definitely a very good set. The cards are crazily sought after. The recently sold, one of the first sold Umbreon EX was in the close to $20,000, right? I think it was close to 19,000, 18,800, something like that, $18,000. So it was definitely a sought after set and many very nice cards inside. Design wise, I definitely prefer Prismatic Evolution, a little bit more modern design to that. And but if it is going to be printed like how they print Crown Zenith, what impact will it have on the price? I think these are things that we really have to consider. And I also did this, so from the investment point of view, if you got them, I mean, we do not have access to the same kind of price point. For example, the ETB I got was actually around this price, $56. That's as cheap as I can get in Singapore. This is normal ETB, right? But at the moment, market price is 150. Some of us may be able to get a price in somewhere in between. If you know somebody, you know, or you got a nice shop around you that sells around 180, 120, I don't know what it is, but I just put a price in between for comparison's sake, right? So if, let's say, Hidden Fate reach a $200 price point after 5 years, and Hidden Fate is actually quite a good set, right? I don't think we can deny that, but and even Hidden Fate only reached $200 after 5 years. So consider this: if you got it at close to MSRP, like what I did, $55, then you are making about 210% in 5 years. So is this a good number? If you compare to booster box, I don't think this is a very, very exceptional number. I mean, it's good, but if you compare to sets like a Fusion Strike, what are they doing now? This is at the moment is like $500, and at release you probably can get it at I don't know, 110, 120. So that's like a 400% return in 4 years. Not even 4 years yet, I think. Right? So 200%, is it a very good return? I won't say it is exceptional, but it is pretty good, right? But let's say now, if you are getting it at full market price at the moment, 150, bearing in mind this 200%, $200 and this percentage, the percentage I actually took 15% off the $200. I mean, to consider if we are going to sell it on platforms like TCG Player or eBay, we're going to have to pay some processing fee and platform fee and other things, right? So if we get the ETB at full market price, and if the ETB only reached $200 after 5 years, we are looking at only 13% gain after 5 years, in 5 years. So, and I honestly do not think this is worthwhile, right? Because if you are buying into any set, I literally mean any set, even like Battlestar, Rebel, Clash, I think they are going to do better than this in 5 years. Better than 13% in 5 years, right? Am I right? Or you just leave it in the bank, put in fixed deposit, and you roll the interest rate, it's going to be higher than this, I believe. So it's really not worth investing if if they are really only going to reach the Hidden Fate kind of price. But let's say in the other universe or the other scenario where it is not printed to the ground, or they really limit the print in Prismatic Evolutions for whatever reason, and the ETB gets really, really rare, very scarce, like Generations. At the moment, I just look at TCG Player. There were only 2 listing for Generations ETB, and on the eBay there's I think like 50 available at about $900. A Hidden Fate, there are a lot more, right? At Hidden Fate we still have a few hundred on the eBay, and TCG Player you have a few more over there. So it's really about the supply side of things. Demand is definitely there, but the control is on the supply. So how much is Pokemon Company going to print for this ETB? If they're going to print it to the ground like what they do to Crown Zenith, the price point is I do not know. Is it going to be 200? Maybe more, because ultimately, I do think that Prismatic Evolution is a better looking set, or at least for me, that's my preference. I do not know what the market likes, but I can't say it for everybody. But to me, I think Prismatic Evolution is a better set than Hidden Fate. So it'll probably be slightly more than 200, maybe 300, 400. I do not know. But is it going to hit $700 in 5 years? I think it is only possible if the Pokemon company really don't print them as much as what they do to 151 or Crown Zenith. So yes, so my take in this whole situation is I'm not going to buy as an investment at $150 because I think the downside is just too great. The downside risk is just too high, because if they end up being a $200 box in like 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and everybody is just keeping it and slowly releasing it, and nobody's ripping it because it is too difficult to pull, then I do not think it is a very good investment at $150. But I got one for myself to keep as a collection and just to look at it when I want to. That makes me happy. So I think that's fine. If you are buying it at $150, just keeping it as collection is, I think it will definitely go up in value. But as an investment, I don't think is the best choice out there at the moment. But if you can get it below $100, I think you can take the chance, or at least I will take the chance, because there's a chance that it may do. Let me just show you this one again. It may do somewhere between this range. I believe it's probably going to be better than $200 in 5 years, but I doubt it will reach this level. This is very high level, and this, let me just give you a reference. Close to 1,000% return in 5 years. This is Evolving Sky level, right? At the moment, Evolving Sky is about $1,200, $1,300, and if you get it at about $100 at release, the booster box, that's about 1,000%, right? So this is almost Evolving Sky level kind of return if you can get it at wholesale price, right? So yeah, so that's to give us some kind of idea how it will do. Nobody will know. Nobody have a crystal ball, but we do are able to control whether we buy or keep our money in the bank, depending on what price level we have access to. So yeah, so that's my suggestion. If as an investment, $150, it doesn't make sense to me. But if you can get it at a lower price, I think you should go for it. Yeah. So yeah, let me know what you think. Are you going to buy them as investment? Are you going to just buy one to keep? Are you going to buy some to rip? Or do you think I'm totally off and it's going to go to the moon and $1,000, $2,000 per ETB in 2 years time? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next one.